Hello, folks. This is Jacques Luxor, going to be discussing some of the tenets of rational relationship that we practice and teach. Um, One of the main concepts that we have is praxis, which the words practice and process come from. With the speech therapy, the, the, the rational praxis or the praxis of the rational, you have to have a philosophy that informs your behavior, and you can't conceal the philosophy. And you have to, which means that you have to tell people what your philosophy is. And there should be a congruence between what you say and what you think and what you do, whether you want to admit it or not. That congruence already exists. If you're a psychopath, you have a psychopathic praxis, an irrational praxis. If you're a rational person, you have a rational praxis. So rational is as rational does. Now, what we're going to discuss today is, being a linguistic philosopher like I am, you notice certain things about language. What's interesting to me is that if you look at the question is the feminine part of a conversation. It demonstrates a lack, an invitingness, an emptiness. You're asking a question. Even the question mark itself has a feminine, curvaceous shape. Now, the opposite of that is an exclamation or even the period, because you're making an assertion. You're stating something. It's a statement. It's masculine. Now, what's interesting is that if you look and if you listen to people talking, what you realize is that the vast majority of the questions that are being asked are not genuine questions. People are asking snarky, cynical, sarcastic questions, or they're asking leading questions manipulatively. One of the things that I get all the time, quite frequently, is people will make exclamations. They won't use question marks, and they'll say that they asked a question. The other thing I see is where people will make an accusation. They will accuse you of something in order to get you to divulge information that they want. So if you look at the bastardization and the corruption of the feminine part of conversation, and you extrapolate away from that, it makes me curious as to whether femininity in society, in its pure form, is also becoming corrupt. One of my comedy nom de plumes has a saying: sarcasm is the bastard child of weak wit and intellectual cowardice. Now, one of the tenets of rational relationship that we teach, the part of the praxis of the rational, is that you listen to understand and you communicate to be understood. So in our philosophical society, we discourage sarcasm because it's often used as a form of emotional abuse, or intentionally creating vagueness so as not to communicate understanding, so as not to be understood. The other thing with sarcasm, what we find, a technique that I've observed with some people, is that they will hedge their bets. They'll say something sarcastically in an accusatorial manner, because if it turns out later that they were correct, they can say, see, I was right. But if it turns out later that they were wrong, they say, well, see, I was telling a joke. So this is not a rational praxis. It's an irrational praxis, and we don't use it in rational relationship. You listen to understand, and you communicate to be understood. And when you ask a question, you ask it because you genuinely have a question, and there is genuinely something that you want to know. Asking a question, an honest question, frames the relationship in a certain way. It says, you have something that I am aware that I have a lack of. Now, That's very important in order to have a rational relationship and to understand what the nature of your relationship is. To know who has the question and who has the answer. When I went to see Guru Mahishad Vilasananda of the Siddha Yoga order, when you approach the Guru with a clear intention, which means that you're being honest with yourself about what it is that you want. You don't approach the Guru strategically. And the fascinating thing is that people that lie to themselves are probably worse than people that lie to you. A person that can't be honest with themselves can never be a friend to anybody else. And loving somebody that hates themselves is, in a way, hating yourself. Well, I think that's about it for today. Have a good day, brothers and sisters.